Queensland borders, daughter not allowed to attend father's funeral. A grieving daughter who was banned from attending her father's funeral was surrounded by security guards and dressed in full PPE gear to say her last goodbye. Canberran Sarah Casip, 26, was trapped in quarantine in Queensland and was taken under police escort Thursday to see her father's body. She was not able to attend the service. The heartbreaking solution to a bitter row over the plight of the family was announced by Queensland Health after a war of words between the Prime Minister and the Queensland Premier. Prime Minister Scott Morrison raised the issue with Peter Credlin on Sky News Thursday night, saying he spoke to Ms. Casip over the phone. "She sent me a lovely message. But that I think just shows the generosity of her spirit on just what must have been the most horrible of days for her. I've seen the images of when she went to see her dad, and there've been some shocking days during the course of this pandemic. And today just hurt," the PM said. "Those who have decided these measures are necessary, that they've got to find a better way to deal with the heart here. I mean, I've dealt with many premiers on many different issues all the time. I've dealt with the Queensland Premier on other issues. Sadly, today, I didn't have the influence that I would hope to have. But Sarah doesn't get today back." Ms. Casip told Channel 9 health authorities only got back to her saying she could attend last Friday. "They only got back to me on Friday last week to tell me I was able to come to Queensland, but it was 2 days after he had already passed away. A lot of people are helping and a lot of people are angry, but you know." Ms. Casip traveled to Queensland to spend time with her father during his final days, but he died before she could get out of quarantine. Her father's funeral was scheduled for 2 p.m. but she was told in the hours leading up to the funeral that she could not attend. Up to 100 of her family and friends were allowed to attend the 2 p.m. service in Mount Gravatt. Earlier, Health Minister Greg Hunt urged the Queensland Premier to allow her to attend wearing a mask. "Obviously, I think, the most sensible and sensitive and compassionate thing to do with regard to Sarah's case is if in a COVID-safe way. Obviously, masked and with any other appropriate distancing, Sarah were able to attend the full funeral. I think that would be the most humane, compassionate thing to do," he said. Ms. Casip wrote a heartbreaking letter to the Queensland Premier after she was unable to cross the border to spend time with him during his final days. "My dad is dead and you made me fight to see him, but it was too late and now you won't let me go to his funeral or see my devastated 11-year-old sister," Ms. Casip said. "You won't listen and your government is destroying my life. Now you are preventing me from going to view his body, which is a very important tradition for me, and also preventing me from going to his funeral this Thursday, even though I am in Brisbane in hotel quarantine and only a few kilometers away. I came from virus-free Canberra, so the fact that I'm even in quarantine is beyond belief, but the fact that I am being denied my basic human rights to care for my grief-stricken mother and little 11-year-old sister enrages, disgusts and devastates me at the same time. My little sister is now without my support and I will never forgive you." Just after noon, Queensland Chief Health Officer Jeanette Young said she would be let out of hotel quarantine for a private viewing of the body. The exemption to attend the funeral was not granted. Earlier, the Prime Minister confirmed this morning he had called Anastasia Palaszczuk and demanded she take action to allow the woman to skip quarantine so she can attend the funeral, which is taking place this afternoon. That would allow Sarah to go to the funeral today. It's not about borders. It's not about politicians. It's not about elections. The only thing that matters today is that Sarah can be with her 11-year-old sister Isabel and her mother while they mourn the passing of their husband Bernard. Both Mr. Morrison and radio broadcaster Ray Hadley were on the verge of tears during the emotional interview as they discussed their own fathers' deaths. Mr. Morrison continued on the verge of tears after pausing as he discussed her being in hotel quarantine on Father's Day. "There have been no COVID cases in Canberra for 60 days. I've done all I can." But one Queensland government source told news.com.au he wasn't bloody crying when he rang the Premier and berated her, he said. "It's not her call. It's the Chief Health Officer's." The PM rang and said, "You will do this." She had to remind him it's not her call. "It's the Chief Health Officer's." The PM rang and said. In Parliament, the Queensland Premier accused the Prime Minister of bullying her over borders. "I will not be bullied, nor will I be intimidated by the Prime Minister," she said.